talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Oh, we're babbling on. We're babbling on.
I can make anything
It's in the future.
If I have a daughter,
Will
she have my skinny waist?
or babbling.
Widow's feet.
Okay, so before we get too experimental here, that sultry tone you just heard is the one and only Lord Scholar Preeminent. Oops, I just spoiled the babbling on topic. Chase Porter, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everybody, long-time listener, first-time babbler.
Hey, Babblista.
I'm a big babbler.
I'm so glad you're here.
Is there like a stand name for the babble community?
Lately, we've been leaning into babbles, or little babbles.
I'm a little babble. Pause up, honey.
You're a little moonsta, right?
I am.
But
yeah.
you're not like... Here, let me,
Pull
you know
up
what, let
in
me
Sri
pull the
Lanka.
table closer. 1 second. Look how much better that is.
Oh, I'm so much cozier.
Hi, bitch.
Hey, honey. How are you?
Hey, long time babble.
Hey, babble.
I'm good. I threw up this morning, and
Queen
I'm
Babble.
Mother Babble.
Mother babble. Mother babble threw up this morning.
Mother Babble spat in the lake Lacrimose. Do you know that series
No.
of unfortunate events?
No, but I do. Winnie. Right?
You mean from Bridge? You mean from Talk Everlasting?
Yeah. Right.
There's a character named Winnie in Talk Everlasting, which is a movie that made me cry. That's also my sister's name. Just to keep
As
you
the
guys
little
informed.
babbles know.
Little babbles do their thing. So, what was I saying?
Vomit in
Oh,
the
yeah.
AM.
So, we're about to reveal your babbling topic.
Can't wait.
And then we'll be circling back to why me being hungover is a good thing. But first and foremost, who are you in the 8, my love?
Let's go.
Let's do this, bitch.
The 8. So I haven't really watched Girls, I'll say. I've watched a few episodes.
Yeah.
But I don't really connect with those queens on a spiritual level.
Okay, that's tea. Like, that's why the 8 was devised by a careful culinary study to determine all parties viable for brain examination are familiar with at least 4 of the 8. Do you know what I
put
just
me in
said?
the MRI, honey, and check those brain waves. I always connect with and currently connect with Samantha. Like,
Yeah!
that's me, honey.
You're literally like one of the true Samanthas I've ever met.
I just think she's living life in a free way
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
takes things as they come
That's Samantha.
and takes things as they come, honey.
Oh, do you hear that?
Thank you.
That's good. What do you sounds make in bed? Do you mind me asking? And also, do you mind? I'm just, as a backup scratch recording, gonna record a voice memo just in case something goes wrong. You don't hear that sounds on the album that we're discussing today. You don't hear those kinds of sounds.
No, it's not.
It's not about that at all.
Yeah.
You sexual.
I haven't watched.
Oh,
Listen.
girl. FKA Twigs is the main pop moment of the times. Like, I'm sorry. I watched that video and I was like, this is what it was like when we were watching Gaga's videos back in the day.
Can't wait.
It's so good. Anyway, you're a Samantha. Duh.
I'm a Samantha, yeah. What about you?
And she's everything. I'm a Carrie. Like, I woke up hungover. I vomited. I am wearing a silk dress now.
You look
I have
amazing.
curly hair. I look amazing and I look like a woman, and
And you're in New York.
I'm in New York. I just got fired from my wine shop job.
Honey.
Whatever.
Do you want to talk about it?
Maybe if it comes up in relation to the album somehow. We'll
yeah.
see.
What
But-
album? Can't wait to.
So what
can't
are you
wait to figure
babbling
it
on
out.
about today?
Today and most days and throughout the summer and winter,
Yeah.
I am babbling on about Ella Maria Lonnie Yellick O'Connor, known by the stage name Lorde.
Yes.
And her third debut album, Solar Power.
Oh, fuck. Did you just say third debut? not to rag on you, but
third
isn't that an oxymoron?
commercial release.
Yeah! Back on track.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to get that down because I want people to know we are focusing on solar power.
Solar power.
Yeah, like Lorde is obviously top 3 parents of all time we love, but like we're focused in on one aspect of her.
Today we're talking about solar power, and we'll reference the others.
Yes. Solar power is our base, yeah.
But solar power is the main.
Yeah, so what brought us to you? What made you choose solar power over the others? Is that a good place to start? And then I need the broader context of you and Lorde. I mean, you have an extensive encyclopedic Lorde standing history that makes most others tremble in their boots.
I'm a son of the stand-up of Lorde.
Yeah. Since her inception,
like I first heard the Love Club EP on Hype Machine. Did you ever have that app?
Is that a website?
Hype Machine was like an app before I had Spotify, way before. And the whole premise of the app was that it would look at all the blogs, like the indie blogs that were posting music, and it would aggregate those songs, and that was the feed.
And it was an app? Sorry, I'm still
It was an
tripped
app.
up.
It was
like
an
so
app.
on an iPhone.
Yeah, on an iPhone, similar to Solar Power. I was in
Okay.
similar to SoundCloud. I was in high school, and I heard the Love Club, the song.
Be a part of the Love Club. Everybody waits for you.
And
I'm gonna close the windows. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay, Queen.
Because you're hearing that, right?
The only problem that I've got with the club is how we're severed from the people who
I'll
watch
be getting
you
up at
grow
various
up
times
and
to
be
like
a
turn the fan
member.
on and back off as
Go
I try and
on
decide what's
a
best.
great adventure again, and we'll be waiting at the end.
Shit, I'm so sad I missed that part.
Welcome back.
Oh, I was so sad to be gone because this is like... So you heard Love Club, the song, in high school.
In high school.
From Hype Machine.
And my girlfriend at the time, yes, say it.
I want that, dude.
She and I would burn CDs for each other all the time, and it was like the most Tumblr, like songs built for Tumblr that never made it out of Tumblr songs.
So was she cool? Did you respect her tastes?
Yeah, and we were kind of like, it was a little, what's that movie where they're like very wanderlust? Perks of Being a Wallflower. It was like, that was us. It was like, they don't get our taste.
Yeah.
And so we'd make CDs for each other.
She was Emma Watson.
And she was Emma Watson, and I was the guy.
Logan Lerman.
Sure.
The one who got abused. In the movie.
Oh.
It's so sad. Like, let me impress that point.
Yeah, maybe I should watch again. That is sad.
Anyway, sorry, I derailed you.
It was like, who is this? Lorde, Lorde? Like,
yeah. Oh, you were doing that.
Singer? Like, I was doing so much research online, being like,
I was
who
calling
is she?
Keisha.
Okay,
anyway.
That's good.
Keep going.
And I found one interview with a local Auckland newspaper that was about Lorde, and she was like, yeah, like, I don't have any pictures of myself online. Like, I don't know if I want, like, that type of fame. But I released this EP and I'm loving it, and it's so fun to produce music. And she had one cover on YouTube, and it was Kings of Leon, Use Somebody.
Oh my God.
You knew that I could use somebody. Yeah. That's how she sang it.
Wait, like that with the yeah?
Buddy. Yeah.
She's perfect.
And I would listen to that on repeat, and it's actually like bad. I think the cover's bad.
Well,
but it was like I needed as much Lorde content as I could get, and all I had was the Love Club EP.
Which includes the song "The Love Club," Royals. Yes,
It includes Royals. That's like the hit single from it. It includes Bravado.
Oh,
One of my favorites.
which goes like,
I'll find my own bravado. It's a switch flip.
It's a clip tip. It's a limit before your eyes.
And I'll
It's
be
a
running
limit
for
and you got no time. And you're
ready
gonna
for it
this.
as I was. Every little thing that could bite you down to get me now. I want your applause, your approving things that make me go, oh. One of the best.
Yeah, so good.
It includes The Love Club, Biting Down.
It feels better biting down.
And then in 2013, Swinging Party, one of her covers, got added to it.
Oh, they added one in.
Yeah, it was released in 2012 on SoundCloud, but when it went to iTunes, they swapped in Swinging Party.
But that all preceded Pure Heroin then?
That's all pre-Pure Heroin. And $1 Million Bills is on this, and I think that song is great. There's nothing more I want except money and time.
And the trip.
$1 Million Bills and the drip.
Okay, well, here's something though, is like, I love when she leans into her gratitude, and you've just now said like the use somebody, and $1 Million Bills, which is one of her brattiest songs, you don't like. So I'm curious, because it's like, I do want her to get a little brattier again back into album 4.
My issue with You Somebody is the way she pronounces somebody. Somebody. I think it sounds really bad, but I do usually love when she does that little...
Yeah, she's like... You vow before
vowel
the
fuck up.
My admirers and I'm jumping it. Oh, well, I guess
in my bedroom, I wake up in...
One thing that just came to me that I have to say before we keep going...
Yeah.
Imagine if she covered this song, which I think is making a resurgence. But she didn't have to cut me out.
Make her like it never happened.
And change your
I think
she should cover that, and that could tear. And I need that. I almost want to AI it.
I mean, there's nothing more I love than a Lorde cover.
Same. But don't you not love Swingin' Party for some reason?
Swingin' Party is one of my faves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do too.
I love it.
All right, great.
Okay, a little more history on Lorde. Like, she was discovered at the age of 12 at a talent competition where she was singing, like, rock music.
Like, what song do you know?
I didn't even recognize it. There's a YouTube video of her on stage, and she's not singing like she does, which I'm like, how was she discovered for singing in such a different style? And they just knew it. So she was discovered by Universal Music Group after an agent received that video.
Can I watch it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, Is that her?
Yeah, that's her. What song is it?
Wait, what?
It's like Screamo.
I don't recognize the song.
I don't know.
And she's like, she doesn't sound that good, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So discovered when she was 12, and then the Love Club EP came out like in 2012, so she was 16.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Universal acquired sorry.
Universal discovered her, and then they like paired her with different producers, different songwriters to try to like see if she had an album in her. And
Love Club was out at this point, and then Pure Heroin
Love
comes
Club
out.
hadn't been out yet. She like wrote Love Club with this producer that Universal Music Group gave her.
Okay.
And like,
so as this kid, they gave her a producer. She wrote Love Club with...
I think like discovered at 12, and then they put her through like singing lessons. They like paired her with certain artists being like, we think you have something that can be nurtured.
By the way, I only watched 5 seconds of the video. I'm sure she had something really promising in that.
And then 4 years later, and those 4 years were like her performing in Auckland with a friend, like doing small venues. 4 years later, she does Love Club.
Okay, and that
EP.
comes out 2016.
And it's one of those famous stories where it's like she wrote 3 of those songs in the span of like 4 days.
Sometimes art is like that. It just flows out. So I graduated college when this came out? Wow, it was old.
And then Royals obviously reached #1 in Canada and the UK. In New Zealand, it becomes a global smash hit from the EP.
Oh, right, because that was on the EP.
And then Pure Heroin gets released a year later in 2013.
Oh, so it was 2012, not 2016. Is that what you mean to say? Or did I get confused? Yeah.
She was 16 in 2012.
I'm a number fudge. Like, I'm getting bogged up in numbers. But yes.
I'm a number boy.
I'm a number girl.
I love a number.
Do you?
I do.
Favorite number?
Favorite number? It's like 13.
13.
Yeah.
That's so classic.
I know, but in this way that I'm like, I don't really ascribe to the like larger societal narrative around like, I love 13.
But do you believe it's unlucky?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't really believe in luck.
Yeah, me either, I guess. But I am going to touch this crystal right now and see if that helps me. You want to?
I'm touching you.
Mine, I always said was 85 as a kid to like be funny, or 11.
I'm laughing.
Anyway, so just to be clear, 2012 we have Love Club. 2013 Royals hits big.
Pure Heroin is released.
And Pure Heroin is released. And then we get into...
And then legit 2014, she curates the soundtrack to The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, which includes some covers of hers, includes some original music, and then her general curatorial vibe of like, figuring out what songs
as like a respected
like go in the credits.
So she made a couple originals, she made a couple covers, but mostly it was curating. That's like a huge undertaking. Holy
Huge.
shit.
And for that to happen just the year after Pure Heroin's release.
And Royals wins the Grammy for Song of the Year that year. It also wins Pop Vocal Performance, and then the album is nominated for Pop Vocal Album, and we also get a Record of the Year nom, I believe.
Period.
Do you have that in your files?
I do. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to the song California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's save it for that. Because that is an interesting whole thing, that specific Grammy win, in terms of like the history of Grammys, I feel.
And she's so young.
Yeah.
So young.
She's 16?
16.
That's insane. So how old is she now?
She was 24 when Solar Power came out, so she's 27 now.
Okay. Right.
So maybe 28.
A couple years older than her.
Whatever her birthday
Anyway, so in the Lorde history, just to catch us up to speed, to get into Solar Power deeply, like we then have Melodrama, or am I skipping something?
No. Then we have Melodrama in 2017, the year I graduated college, came out like a few weeks before graduation.
Yeah, and this would have been the summer of my first year in New York. I'd lived in New York for 1 year at this point. Yeah. And I was loving Pure Heroin. I'm really into it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was yet like Lorde is my number one god.
What was your first reaction to Melodrama coming out?
I'm so glad you asked. This is when with the release of Greenlight, the lead single from Melodrama, and its accompanying video, which is just her like in the roof of a car, like receiving the night air as it drives, basically, and dancing a little, I think, but nothing too crazy. With that song just clicked in my head in this way that few songs ever have, where it was all I could listen to for like the whole summer and then on. And everywhere I would go up to the DJ and request it, and I would dance to it so hard. I would like sob to it. I had never been through a breakup at that point, not really. So it wasn't about like, oh, this is like the breakup anthem, which it is, but I was happily, I think it was 2017, so I was about to like fall in love. Yeah. And because I don't think I had met him yet. Anyway, I'm trying to remember the dates and get it right, but
you're like pivotal in me liking that song.
Really?
Do you know that?
Really?
When it came out, the piano I hated so much. I love
when it goes, but I hear sounds, and that piano was discovered through them going to a Florence and the Machine concert and like being inspired by the piano there. And Dog Days Are Over.
Wow,
I'm pretty sure.
I just thought it was so like Mumford and Sonsy in a way I didn't like, but then seeing you dance to it in the last few years and seeing the like joy that you connect to the song, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like the most special song.
That means the world. If I can just change one mind and impart one person the power, the dance, like physical high energy power of that song.
Totally.
I cracked my skull open. It was bleeding dancing to that in a basement of my friend's place. Like I've danced to that everywhere, in like the airport, and like back when I was a little bit more just like thrashing my head against walls more, I was like going hard with that song.
Yeah.
And biking to it in Brooklyn summer. When did it come? What month did it come out? Do you recall?
I have no idea. Oh, it came out like...
I feel like it came out beginning of summer. When?
January, February, March, April.
Did Melodrama.
Can I guess first? January,
Yeah.
February, March, April. May. I think June. It came out in June.
June 16, 2017.
Period.
Yeah, like right before Pride. And I was working at Out magazine at the time. I remember when I watched the video and heard the song for the first time, I was in the Out offices.
I'll never forget the first time I heard Liability. Like that was a single off the album.
Yeah, wait, did you hear it where did you hear it?
I was getting my haircut at this barbershop that everyone in my fraternity would go to, and everyone was always like, that barber's so like funny and flamboyant, and like he's so crazy. He's like this Cuban guy. And that day I got my hair cut, and he like came out to me like while he was cutting my hair and like telling me all these like DL sex stories about like fucking other guys in Cuba and in the US, but he's like a closeted straight guy.
Were you out at the time?
I was, to some people.
Wow.
And he basically was like, you should come back to the barbershop when my shift ends. Like, and it's like he's the only one there, and it was like actually kind of creepy, and he was like rubbing. And so I was like,
what do you? Oh, like while he was cutting your hair,
a
he
little,
was rubbing
yeah.
it. Were you into him?
I wasn't, no.
Okay.
But like all love to
Yeah.
him.
Nothing but love for you.
Exactly.
And
so I step out of the barbershop and I see Liability has just been released on Spotify.
Oh my God.
And I click play.
Oh my God.
And I remember listening to the song and being like, you better not associate this barbershop experience with this song forever. Like, maybe don't listen to it right now. And I thought about turning it off so I could like really disassociate the two. And I remember just being like, don't think about this in the future. And now it's all I think about.
There's nothing like setting the rules of trying not to associate two things, and then inevitably that makes them associated.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But that song. The lyrics of that song.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Like, I'm at a loss. I've rarely related to a song's lyrics so much as Liability.
Yeah.
And I didn't prepare for Melodrama. But that is... Then the album came out. And I saw Coachella that year. So earlier in the year. And she had sung Greenlight.
And you know I was in the crowd too.
Were we there at the same show?
I don't know if we were the
Second
same week
weekend?
I think so.
So we would have seen Lorde together, maybe.
Legit.
We might have been at that show, which was...
Oh, probably, because I don't think she did the, like...
She did the glass case thing, where
She
it's
did
like
the
there's
glass
a
case
party
thing.
in a
She
glass
performed
box
Homemade
on the
Dynamite for
stage.
the first time.
Yeah, she performed Homemade Dynamite.
And
That's
I
what
was, like, in the crowd singing along, and Ned was like... This how
you were singing
like-
along. Wait,
like-
what's your tea? You
I was
had
like,
all
remember the
leaks?
first part of the song, like she's doing it again, like singing.
Oh, like you were like, I'm already off book. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's so you.
Oh, that was good.
Were you gagged by the glass? So Lorde, I just want to make sure the listeners have any idea what we're talking about,
Share it
which
with
is
them.
that if you haven't seen her concert on the Melodrama tour, that Coachella, she had like a tilting raised glass box that fit like 12 dancers in it who were like at times dancing, at times like simulating a party and holding like red Solo cups, and it was like going on the whole show, and it was really
this
cool.
Little diorama of a party. And like as the party gets drunker, like it tilts more and it goes back and forth and they're falling and she's performing in the box.
Yeah. Because Melodrama's whole conceit, which let me just stop right now and say something, because I'm starting to freak myself out. Like, we're not here. We're talking about Solar Power today, and you're going to come back on and do the other two albums because they're both like...
Yeah.
By the way, Solar Power is my least favorite of the three. I'll just say that. So like Melodrama and Pure Heroine need their episodes too. It's funny that we're choosing, and we still haven't gotten to like why you did choose, and we will when we get through the chronology. But anyway, Melodrama, Heaven, love it. My favorite of the three. One of the best albums ever made. More for you to say on Mellow before we move towards Solar's lore.
Mellow, I think it's like, before we start talking about Solar, interesting to talk about how all these albums relate to drugs.
Yeah.
And Melodrama is this drunk party.
Yeah.
And it's like going through the ups and downs of a party, the parts of the party where you're feeling reserved, you can't connect with the dancing, you're on your own, you're like getting really self-conscious. It's connecting with the joyous jumping, the green light. And I mean, the crescendo of Liability, actually the very end, you're all gonna watch me disappear into the sun.
Oh my God.
And on SNL, the way she sings it, you're all gonna watch me disappear into the sun.
I'm covered in goosebumps. We call that Braille at Babbling On headquarters. We call it Helen Keller's lunch because...
You're Braillean right now.
I'm brilliant. Because I don't think, at least in my
You're
like...
full Braille.
In my... in my frontal lobes, I was recalling that she teased Solar Time with Liability.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And so I think as a result, like, Melodrama is this really joyous but also dark album.
Yeah.
And then we move into Solar Power, which to me is this album about being content.
Yeah.
Everyone's
and being
like,
earnest.
Solar Power is like her happy album. It's like, I actually disagree with that. I think it's her content album.
Yeah.
Peace.
Well, wait. So do we associate specific drugs with the first two then? Like, is pure heroin like cocaine, basically?
Kind of.
/ cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then Melodrama is like, I don't know, honestly, like...
To me, it's liquor.
Yeah, it's like alcohol.
Like it's vodka sodas.
Yeah. And it's also maybe like poppers.
Sure.
Sort of.
For you.
Although she could do a poppers one that's like even more like EDM-y.
L4, here we come, honey.
And then Solar Power, like she had quoted to New York Times saying like, I was thinking I was going to make an acid album and we're going to get into why things changed, but it's a weed album, not an acid album. Yeah.
Exactly.
And we smoked a little weed before this to honor that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I have, what if we do the 8, but as it relates to Lorde?
Songs or just like facets?
Kind of her 8 albums, like which one of them are you? And those
Don't try and be that cunt with me
Those
who's
8
going to
would
say
be
there's 8 Lorde albums,
The Love
bitch.
Club EP,
Okay.
Pure Heroin,
Okay.
Tennis Court Flume Remix,
As an album, you're starting to toy with my heart.
Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 soundtrack, Melodrama, Solar Power, Te Ao Marama, her indigenous New Zealand Maori
I haven't listened to that, I'll be honest.
It's stunning. It's her singing in the
Okay.
Maori language.
Okay.
And then Girl So Confusing remix. Like those are the 8.
Okay, we can definitely do that, but why are we putting the Tennis Court Flume remix as an album and not like Magnet's Disclosure?
You bring up an awesome question. I think just because that was like the first time everyone was like, oh, they can remix her songs.
Smoking sunset off Mulholland. I was trucking, I was thinking about you and that girl. She your girlfriend, face from heaven.
Bet the world they don't know.
Don't know.
Pretty girls don't know the things they don't know. Oh, dancing past the point of no return.
I love that song. I'm going to swap that in for Flume, even though... Okay, so what's your 8?
I mean, today I'm Solar Power, like not to beat a dead horse.
I thought you were going to assign... Wait, what? To those to each of the 8 characters.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
Well, basically, I would call Carrie...
Yeah, let's hear
is... Hannah is kind of Melodrama. No, maybe...
Hannah's Te Ao Marama.
Yeah. Carrie's Melodrama, like... Samantha's Pure Heroin.
It's like, which one's Solar Power?
Like, maybe none of them are Solar Power.
Oh.
No, or like Charlotte when she gets drunk at the firefighter thing and she's like dancing and is just like completely like gone.
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. Could be. Oh no, you know what? Miranda on Valium could be Solar Power.
Yeah.
I'm on Valium. Everything's okay.
Content.
Before we start to dig into the tracks, there's 2 things. I need the chronology, which I've written down a lot of it, of like the lead up and the lore before Solar Power is released. And I also need to know why you did pick this over one of the others. Like, what is your ranking of the albums and why Solar Power?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not remembering the lore of Solar Power as the lead up.
Oh, well, I'll just say then that, like, basically...
Like the singles that came out?
No, like... So, she acquires a dog and a cat, and she's talking in, like, 2018 or something in some interview about how she has an album in the works, and she's, like, been studying piano and wants to incorporate that a lot, and this album's in the oven. And at some point in 2019, this dog that she's...
Pearl.
Yeah, Pearl dies, and she releases this statement that's like, my dog has died.
Pearl had 2 heart attacks an hour apart.
What?
And died in her arms. I mean, we'll talk about the big star that Pearl is.
Yeah, so Big Star the song is inspired by Pearl, but she puts out a statement that's like, it's going to take some time and recalibration now that there's no shepherd ahead of her, I think referring to either herself or Pearl or the album, to see what the work is going to be.
Totally. I mean, grief becomes such a big force in her life. It's like her first time she talks about experiencing grief of a loved one.
Yeah.
And
is that what she's referring to when she says, remember what you thought grief was before you got the call?
Exactly.
About Pearl.
About Pearl. I don't totally understand the call part of that, because it's like she was
there. How do you know she was holding with 2 heart attacks?
Because she said it. She was like, Pearl had 2 cardiac arrests an hour apart and died in her arms. And she talked about it being like, I'm so happy I was there in those moments with Pearl.
Holy shit. Fuck. So, sorry, so the cardiac arrests, and there was the idea that this album was close to being finished. I don't know if that's really confirmed, but like there was a sort of lore that she had made other work and went back to the drawing board because of Pearl's death, which is totally fair. It does make one curious, like what? No, I'm just saying,
totally
like
fair, but
what do you think that other stuff sounded like?
Oh, you think she like cut stuff after Pearl's death? I'm curious if she just like was working on stuff. Pearl happened and she was like, I can't focus my creative energy into that right now.
Oh, I took it more to mean like she had songs finished, or like maybe not finished, but like along, and then like threw everything away when Pearl died and started over. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know.
But it's something interesting. And so the unspooling of Solar Power to the World begins with the single.
With the single Solar Power.
Yeah.
And then Stoned at the Nail Salon?
Yeah, and then the album came out.
Mood Ring? I don't know.
The album came out August 20th. Stoned at the Nail Salon came out sometime in July while I was in France with my boyfriend at the time. Solar Power came out... Well, okay. This is a really big part of what I need to talk about with Solar Power, which is when I first heard the first single. Are we ready to do that, or should we take it chronologically from the path?
I don't know.
Since I'm here, I'll just talk about the single right now, which is it had been COVID. This came out 21, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the album came out August. Solar Power, the song, came out sometime in like June of 21.
Yeah.
And I had been like super isolated in COVID in my apartment in Greenpoint, and my boyfriend was in France, and I was alone most of the time, and I was super lonely, and I felt like I didn't have any friends. And as summer dawned, I met all these people, including Nick and Alec and Benny and like Natalie, Molly. I became a lot closer with Drew. Like everyone I know now, a lot of them I met like around this time, and we started like having parties again and like hanging out and being social. And then I was in Fire Island for like the first time basically with Alec and a bunch of his friends for his birthday, and we were in a pool and someone had the leak to, I think Jack K had the leak to Solar Power single.
Shout out Jack K.
He was there. Shout out to our queen. Like, we need to get you on here, girl.
To talk about leaks.
I feel like ultraviolence for her. She brought me a leak of the Grands. Anyway, the song played in the pool with all these new friends. I was blissed out on Fire Island. And it was heaven, and I loved it and continue to love it and have never faltered in my love for the title track, Solar Power. Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard it, I think I was in the airport coming back from Fire Island. I was living in San Francisco at the time. And I heard the song Solar Power, and it did not click with me.
Holy shit.
I was really like, what is she talking about?
Holy shit. That's so funny. You are so funny in that way.
I was so like,
you're not a lead
by
single,
it.
Laureen.
I was like, what is she singing about? I wasn't jarred by like the guitar and the general like new sound of it not being synth and dark and goth. I was more just jarred like
the lyrics.
This boy behind you taking pictures, like.
Well, the lyrical approach of this album is really interestingly straightforward.
Yes, definitely, and I think we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But now I love the song Solar Power. Like when I heard it in the context of the full album. And I think that gets to why I love this album. It's like the only album there's no album I've listened to all the way through more.
Really?
Like I just love starting it with The Path, ending it with the extended.
Yeah, Hold No Grudge.
It's just an amazing journey. I feel so good when I listen to it all the way through. To me, it is a work that is back to back to back to back. Like I don't listen to like individual songs on it.
You won't even listen to Solar Power or The Path or Oceanic Feeling on their own. Those three I will listen to on their own.
Oceanic Feeling I listen to on their own.
Oceanic Feeling is my favorite on
Yeah.
the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not to jump ahead, but
Let's go through the chronology.
let's go through the chronology, and that will open us to some other things.
And I guess in general, the reason I'm so drawn to this album.
Yeah.
It is sun-soaked. It's sun-soaked music that reminds me of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The early 2000s.
Seems so far ahead.
And it's all about being content in your life. It's about the joys, the sadness, but knowing how to look forward.
Yeah.
And how to connect with like darkness in the past, but feel good.
Yeah.
And I love that energy.
And you don't think skips on it then? You're listening to it all the way there? I mean,
I think there's a couple
okay,
skippies.
so we'll get to that.
But I do think it's a skipless album if you remove those skips.
but
It's a skipless
that
album.
doesn't make any sense.
Let's hit it.
Okay. All right. So, do you feel like you've adequately said why you chose this over the other two, though? Maybe not yet, but maybe that will come up as we talk.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like, I think that is the reason I love it as an album.
Okay, yeah.
The others, I'm like dipping
Songs,
in
yeah.
to songs
Okay.
and I'm loving it and I'm connecting them
Yeah.
with like those eras of my life. And right now I'm just in my solar power energy
interesting.
right now.
I do really feel that melodrama and pure heroine, but specifically melodrama, is like a thing where I want to go start to finish tease. But anyway, let's start with The Path.
Let's
The
do
Path,
it.
The Path, The Path, The Path, The Path.
One of
First
the
track on
best.
that, one of the best on the album. It's so good. It's a classic early 2000s ditty, drawings Natalie Imbruglia inspo. You're a little late, this is how I feel. I'm cold and I'm ashamed, bound and broken on the floor. By the way, that lyric is crazy. Bound and broken on the floor, naked and cold and ashamed. Like, what is Natalie Imbruglia talking about?
I don't know the queen, but I'm loving.
Oh, wait, is that the song that's about abortion? Oh. I forgot.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think of The Path?
The Path. I love it. I think she starts the song, or she starts the album singing about what it's like to be famous and what it's like to be this idol for all these people. Mm-hmm. And what I respect about Lorde is that she's always singing about what she's going through in life. Like, Pure Heroine is about being in a small town in New Zealand and doing small town things and going to house parties. Melodrama is about this breakup. It's about these parties that she's going to. And then Solar Power is about her life as a star, which I think some people find polarizing.
Yeah.
But it's her saying, like, you're looking for a savior. It's not me. It's like she has all these fans that are constantly tweeting at her being like, can't wait till the next Lorde album so she can tell me how to feel.
Yeah.
And she's saying, like, I am not this, like, you shouldn't
Conduit.
idolize
Yeah.
me. Like, I'm also broken and sad.
We are all broken inside, can't find the tears that we had.
And Lorde's fans used to call themselves the Disciples.
What?
Like,
I
that
didn't
was
know
the
that.
stand
Did
name.
you do that?
I didn't.
Okay.
And then she tweeted being like, y'all gotta cut it with that name. Like, you're not my disciples. Like, that's not the relationship I want with my fans.
Yeah.
Like, you're my peers. You're other young people also going through things. And I just happened to sing about them.
She's so, like, real. And, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, down to earth. I don't know. Like, seems that way.
Completely.
In other ways, maybe not. But, like, but it raises the question of, like, the ungrateful pop star. Like, there's almost like, oh, she has to be, like, so happy about this situation because she has everything. And it's like, no, she doesn't. Like, this sounds hard.
Totally.
Like nightmares from the camera flash.
Teen millionaire having nightmares from the camera flash.
So the opening line is, born in the year of Oxycontin, raised in the tall grass, teen millionaire having nightmares from the camera flash.
I struggle with that first line.
Same. So does our friend Jackson Howard, I'm pretty sure, because I was talking about Solar Power when it was coming out, and I think Jackson or someone was like, the lyrics are just like stupid, like Born in the Year of Oxycontin. And
that lyric is so... When I show people this album, I like turn the audio down a little bit at the beginning of the song and then turn it up immediately when we get to Teen Millionaire.
But you need to hear those beautiful guitar riffs at the beginning.
No, totally. And to me, it's like those get lost for newcomers because you can't hear that.
Well, also the whole album, like, didn't it crack around like finding that guitar in the back of the studio?
Yes, like so this is the second album she works with Jack Antonoff on. They go to New Zealand to a new studio. There's a guitar there that is like from the 60s or 70s and just has this like really wavy, groovy
like oceanic
sound. And that's when they talked about, this should have guitar on this album.
Yeah.
And they introduced that guitar. So Born in the Year of Oxycontin, Lorde was born in the year 1996.
Okay, which is
the same year that Purdue Pharma introduced synthetic opioid to the market. And so maybe she's kind of referencing pure heroin, like her general...
Oh, okay. But still, it just somehow doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I just don't get it. I'm like... You're bringing up Oxycontin.
It's just weird.
Queen?
It's like, unless we don't know something, like, is Oxycontin, like maybe she knows a lot of people who've died. Like, she probably does, actually.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that. And
Or is she making a reference? Oh, what about this? Born in the year of Oxycontin, raised in the tall grass. Like, she's like, I was raised by weed.
You know that's not what it is. She's talking about being raised in the countryside of New Zealand.
Tall grass
Isn't
there.
that tea? Mm-hmm. That's that tea. The other two opening lines for the other two albums are with Pure Heroin. It's, don't you think that it's boring how people talk?
And that album ends with,
let 'em talk.
It's so good.
Wait, I feel like we need to do a 3-parter right now. Whatever. Let's just do Solar Power and then we'll figure things out.
Yeah.
And then Melodrama opens obviously with, I do my makeup in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. The fact that now I have gone through a breakup and that song exists, it's like, holy shit, I have things I need to go do. Anyway, I do feel like it's sort of been a steady move from really almost obscure or just like really layered, like hard to pick apart lyrics on Pure Heroin has kind of moved in a direction to arriving on Solar Power. It's like, I'm sure there's a lot of subtext I'm missing and stuff, but a lot of it does feel more just like straightforward. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, she's pretty direct in this album. And that truck agrees. Disagrees.
I said dis, you said yes.
Yeah, she's like being very clear. She plays kind of the role of this cult leader on this album.
Which is funny if she told them to stop being the disciples.
Totally. And I think like there is some satire in this album.
She's cheeky.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think that read. I don't think that read to everyone, but I think that was definitely her like defense when we get to the reception. But let's do song by song.
Yeah. And so then the last lyric I'll relate to the path is on Still Sane. She sings, only bad people live to see their likeness set in stone. What does that make me? And so it's like she's always grappling with this idea of fame, with this idea of being looked up to.
Very good.
And this is starting off this album being like, all right, we're going to talk about this on this album. We're going to talk about this stage in my life where I'm seen as this figure and I'm just a woman.
It is really honest and brave and vulnerable and earnest is the word of this album. And that's what gets it. The elephant in the room, like Solar Power got a really harsh reception and has a bad rep, basically, in terms of Lorde's oeuvre being so esteemed outside of Solar Power.
Yeah, and I do think it's related to your point about the ungrateful pop star.
About the ungrateful pop star, and I also think it's a thing, I mean, there's that video that I sent you the other day where she dances at the VMAs, and it's like, let me be inescapably clear, Lorde is my god. Melodrama and Pure Heroin are everything, and I think she seems like a really cool person, and she's an amazing artist, and like I worship. So I'm gonna be harsh in this conversation, holy fuck,
Sorry.
she's calling. I have some negative opinions, but that's only just said knowing that I love her deeply. Anyway, she had this VMAs dance performance that was like cringy, and then she was defending it, being like, people are afraid of like earnest joy. And I think here that applies, like she's being earnest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Anyway, it's my tirade.
Yeah, she's being earnest and joyful.
I love the path. It has such a cool melody and sound. Let's hope the sun will show us the path is the final lyric. And she said that's the thesis of the whole album.
Completely. It's like, let's, instead of looking to me as this idol, look to the sun.
Yeah.
Like when you feel down on your luck, when you need guidance, let's look to the sun. Let's not look to
A person.
a person, an idol, a famous person.
And it's interesting because it's honestly like other elephant in the room. Like we all kind of would have guessed like Lunar Power be an album. And then to go solar is kind of the unexpected other side of that coin.
I know. And I'm curious
I want it.
if L4...
I
Because
think-
there's some references to the moon on some of these songs that people think are going to be on L4 that she performed in concert.
Oh, you mean like the songs that she only performed live?
Yeah, Silver Moon and Invisible Ink. And then she did post on her
That'd be
Instagram
cool.
story a little clip of L4, and it was like the same beat as Silver Moon.
She did.
Yeah.
She really.
And so
stuck
people
with
are
it.
like, oh, I think Silver Moon is going to be kind of a thesis for the next album. But
If the album's called Silver Moon, I'll gag. I don't know the song, but
yeah.
if it's like, I need it to be obviously like a body talk level dance pop hyper album.
I can't
honestly,
wait. I think
need
it'll
it
be a
to
club
that.
album.
I need it to be clubby with lunar references and maybe some grunge. Anyway, I love The Path so much.
Love it.
I listen to it all the time. I think it's brilliant. One of her best songs ever. Like, it's so great.
And it's such a perfect introduction into the album. It eases you in. It says, all right, get on the path. Now let's walk it together for 12 more songs.
The song is sullied by its opening lines, but if you can look past that, it becomes really great and builds really nicely.
I agree.
We are all broken inside. Okay, so second song
Second song.
is
Title track.
which I've expressed how I first heard it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a masterpiece. I hate the winter, can't stand the cold. I tend to cancel all the plans is how it begins. And again, we have an instance of like, right, like that's pretty straightforward to a point of being like, girl, like you didn't want to go a little more complex.
But when the heat comes, something takes a hold. Can I kick it?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I get it. It's straightforward.
Like lyrically, I'm gonna consistently be bringing up how like she's such a cool, interesting lyricist, and the previous albums really show how complex she goes. And this one, I'm obviously probably just an idiot missing some things, but I feel like a lot of the lines, I'm like, huh? Like you said when you first listened to Solar Power.
Yeah.
And then my boy behind me, he's taking pictures. I'm like, you have a boyfriend? Like, queen, like, what about the sisterhood?
What about melodrama?
Yeah.
Thought you were single, queen.
Right. So Solar Power's title track, more to say for you?
This song, I mean, this is the most sun-soaked song on the album.
Yeah.
I think, like, references are, you know that song, Steal My Sunshine?
You steal my sunshine.
Steal my sunshine.
Da, da.
Soak Up the Sun, Sheryl Crow.
I want to soak up the sun.
I'm like a bird, Nelly
Fly
Furtado.
away. Wow, high references.
Pocket Full of Sunshine,
I ain't
Natasha
got a pocket full of
Bedingfield.
sunshine. The Simlish version. Babadoo.
You ate that.
Babadoo.
And these are all like early 2000s celebration of nature, joyous songs that she's directly referencing. She also references A Tribe Called Quest in this song.
I'm gonna kick it.
Can I kick it?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Can.
Yeah, like she's in this like joyous era of her growing up, and
Yeah.
she's like, what is the modern version of this like sunny guitar joy music?
Yeah. Yep.
And this song sounds like a New Zealand summer.
It does. You almost feel like you're there, and it's like a pretty impressive feat to pull off. For it sounds like it could really have come out in 2004, and
Yeah.
I mean it's still with a modern tinge, but
Yeah.
like she plays with like a period piece
Yeah.
concept there, and I think that's cool.
And then the other two lyrics I'll call out, I'm like a prettier Jesus.
Yeah, this is one that also I feel like in my mind, Jackson Howard for some reason has dragged this lyric, but he might not have ever even said that.
For me, it's like Jesus is the Son of God.
Oh, so you're doing son and son.
And Lorde is saying Son is God.
And so she's saying she's prettier than her dad. Do you see where I get confused for a sec?
Like the Father, the Son, and the Holy
Spirit.
So I think she's saying I'm, right. No, I get it.
I get you. Like,
I get
you
you,
found
Queen.
something when you said she's the son of God. You think
Right?
she did that? Because
No,
there's a
she's
U
not-
and there's an O.
Son is God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Why
then
am I like, we should smoke more weed?
I throw my cellular. I would. Let's do it.
I want to puff.
Let's puff.
Once
puff,
we
puff.
finish solar power
Okay, cool.
song. Okay.
Because
I'm gonna
throw my
need it for
cellular
this next
device
one.
into the water.
Oh, love.
All I think about is Devil Wears.
Yeah.
No, legit. That's all I think about.
Same. That's all I think about. Have you even seen Devil Wears?
Yeah. You wouldn't think I have, but
Can
I
I
have.
kick it?
Yeah,
I can.
And then, little known fact, but Phoebe Bridgers and Clairo do harmonies on Solar Power.
What?
On Solar Power. That was me doing Phoebe.
Okay. Holy fuck.
And then Clairo is like a little higher pitch.
Try it.
I couldn't be it if I tried. So she's like,
Keep going.
Solar Power.
How do you know the harmonies? How do you know that?
I'm just guessing, Queen.
Like solar power.
And they
love
never
that.
met. They never met. It was during COVID. So
was
they,
over
they
Zoom.
didn't even do it in the same studio. That like screech that you just reminded me of, it reminds me of Green Light, the cat noise, the like roar.
The tiger roar.
The tiger roar.
I thought that was in Sober.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because I'm not trying to be a bitch, but I just was watching interviews before this and she said it was in Sober.
God, I thought it was Green Light Diary of a Song. Oh no, Sober Diary of a Song.
I want to watch that. Greenlight's my favorite song of all time.
Wow.
Like any artist.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not my top Lorde song.
Gag. Let's smoke.
Let's do it.
I'm just going to leave it recording because we're just going to take 5 seconds.
Ciao.
Ciao. Are you having so much fun?
I am.
I can see. Like, it's going so well.
Oh, my achy leggy.
Maybe this is a mistake to smoke, but I just kind of think it would be fun.
I'm gonna talk about all the things that I wanna talk about. We'll just keep talking. We'll just keep talking. Just keep talking. Talking. For so long. Oh, we're babbling on. We're babbling
Babbling On is created, produced, and edited by Hilton Dresden. The theme song is by Benny Cortoletta, featuring Callie Baker, and is produced by Benny Cortoletta and Jack Grouse. The artwork is by Hilton Dresden. Audio consultation from Kenzie Woodrow and Dallas Seeker. Special thanks to Alec Cohen, Natalie Rotter-Waitman, Molly Montgomery, Nick Krause, and to everyone who has subscribed to Babbling On the Substack and refused to shut the fuck up.